educated, and then all of a sudden,
But I'm pretty sure it's one of the same people in here.
more today's. I was so excited too. I was just like, bro, I'm poor. Welcome, our favorite delusionists. We are back at book theories and delusions. I am not on the right headspace right now, but we are excited to talk about these chapters. So much has happened. So again, before we get into it, spoilers, warnings, we're talking about the book that we just read.
Yep. And I'm traumatized. Oh gosh. I don't even have the book with me right now. It's upstairs, but
Yeah, I really had so much hope for Apollo. Not like I was trying to see in his point of view, I think, because even in these chapters that we read, Evangeline did say, it's understandable that he sees Jax as the villain because, he was basically drugged by him, he was cursed, and he possibly thinks that he was the one who put the Archer's curse on him, like all these things. Like, that's understandable that he thinks Jax is the villain, and maybe even that he's so possessive over Evangeline. But the things that he did in these chapters that we read were disgusting, astounding, like just so bad. He's so
basically
evil.
like, yeah, he really is. Like, you kind of, when you're first introduced to Apollo, she kind of gives you like a little hint of like what his personality is, right?
Yeah.
Like, right, because he is just getting his portrait taken like all the time, right? And he's just constantly like so many portraits of him, which I mean, pop off, I guess, if you have the money. But, and then he's just like murdering people and then just like justifying it, right? That like little boy, right? He was 14, survived this really like traumatic event, and then he just like, just like, and then to point it on Jax, right? And then that wasn't the only person that he did that with, right? This, like, over these 15 chapters, he did that 2 times, right? Where he killed someone and then made to point it on someone else, right? And I think we just really see just how, like, sociopathic he is, and like he's willing to go to so many lows to get what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, you know, like, yeah, we had hope for him, like, well, she's married to this guy, hopefully he's not terrible, but he is. He's a horrible person.
Yeah. No, I just hoped that he was just really in love and didn't know how to like show it or like handle his emotions or something. But this is so psychotic that yeah. Well, so like you said, he killed the 2 guards for doing what he asked, and then
Yeah.
he killed the boy after manipulating him, and he did what he asked about drawing a picture of Jax and made it look like he was just suicidal, basically, survivor's guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And then now he's trying to put this other bloodshed of chaos, who's an animal, on Jax as well.
Mm-hmm.
So and continually when it's his point of view, he's going to be like, I'm not a murderer, I'm not a killer, I'm not a bad guy, I'm just doing what it takes.
And like, listen, if you have to say that to yourself, like, I'm not a rapist, I'm not a murderer, I'm not, so, like, if you have to justify that to yourself, like, you need to look a little deeper, buddy, because if you have to justify it, there's a line you crossed.
Yep.
And Apollo, the line is wide. You crossed a big one. And I messaged you earlier and I was like, I have this giant theory. And you hadn't read yet. And so I've been waiting. So it's at the banquet, right? And Apollo does his toast, right? And he says this thing where he's like, oh, like to true love and curse whoever like tries to get in the way of true love, right? And then they have that little snippet of someone saying like, oh yeah, it doesn't take much to cast a curse, like you don't need like magic, like whatever, you just have to really say the word, right? But Evangeline doesn't take a drink. So my theory is, because it's a curse of true love, right? Basically, he put a curse on everyone. Where okay, so I think that Apollo thought that he put a curse on everyone, that if he tried to get in the way of Evangeline and Apollo, that they would be cursed. But because she didn't take a drink, right? But in Jax is really her true love. I think Apollo will be cursed again for trying to get in the way of Jax and Evangeline.
I love that. Yes. I think that's again head on
Right?
the nail. You're doing so good with this book.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, it, yeah, I was just like, that's why I was just like, have you read yet? Like, have you read yet? I was like, I need to talk to you about this.
Oh, yeah, no, that's such a good point. I was, yeah, because we were thinking that Jax was going to have to, what's the word, spill his feelings and kiss her, and all of that would
Mhm.
break the curse base, or I don't know if it's a curse, but to give her memories back. But really, it was this letter that
Right.
she wrote to herself, which the letter was saying, don't trust him, like, forget him. She's like, I
No,
remember
I think
now.
but thinking back to it, it's really funny because there was just so much emotion behind that letter.
Yes.
And like she had been remembering, but not with like memories, but with her feelings, right? She was like, I trust you and like I'm in love with you, but like I don't know why, right? And then she reads this letter that if I remember correctly, she wrote after like feeling the effects of like the mirth stone, right? Which is where it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be like the most depressing, right? So I feel like reading that letter and just remembering like that heavy just I think that's what triggered it, right? It's just like and it even said though, so they tied it to this it's the same of how she felt when Apollo took her memory. So I think those were kind of tied. Like they were just like linked together. And so when she remembered, like when she read the letter, I think that's what jogged it, right?
No, that's a really good point. And the person who told
Yeah.
her you're really smart for not taking a drink was Aurora. She's saying her name is, but it's the princess, right? The first fox
Hmm.
who was saying, you're really smart for not taking that drink, and that even saying the word curse can bring on a curse if people believe in it enough. And I think, like you're saying, I wonder if he actually put something in the drinks specifically to be able to enact the curse, and then saying the words
Oh.
just brought it on more, and then them drinking
Uh-huh.
it, right? So, oh, I really actually hope that your theory is true because I would just eat that up. But yeah, I actually don't necessarily trust, and I'm probably butchering her name, but Aurora very much
Hmm.
either. Because, I mean, truly, if I was her and my true love, killed me through kissing me, but I'm back alive, I've been cured, so to speak, and he's still alive and he's this fate person, I would think we can be together forever, like everything's great. But then to find out that he's pining for some other girl, I would be
Yeah.
jealous. I would be trying to get in between that, right?
The whole yeah, the whole Valor family is just so sketch right now. But I did love that little scene between Honora and Wolfric and Apollo
Yes.
when Apollo's like, "Oh, I need to get to like the Tree of Souls or whatever, and like make me immortal or something." And Rolfrick's like, "That's not a good idea." And Honor's just like, "Get up yourself and go find your princess." And Rolfrick's like, "Yeah, like what are you doing here? Like if you love her, go look for her. Like get your army and get going." Right? Obviously that's paraphrased, but I was just like, "Yes."
I loved
Like
that.
like I feel like Apollo's really big with like words, but like no action, like
Mm-hmm.
zero action.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't do anything. Nothing.
No, he
And
is
so I
sends
think
other people to do it, right?
yeah, so I love the honor. It's just like I'm calling you on your crap, man. Like just like get up and find her yourself. And then he was just like, and then he said, I love that like Wolfric's words made him bristle, but Honor's words made him like ashamed, right?
Yeah.
And I love that. I love, oh, my girl Honora.
It was almost like a motherly shaming lecturing type of a thing, and I think that's at least how I read it. Was That's how he took it, was this motherly, you should not have done
Yeah.
this and you know better, and he's like, "Oh, right, you're right."
Yeah. Give up on this crazy foolish dream and like get your butt to action kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like every scene between like Jax and Evangeline because they
Oh, yeah.
destroyed me. And like the fact that like basically so okay, also Castor is trying to kill Evangeline, right? So we don't know what shifted between like what happened at the arch and like now because
Mhm.
Now Castor's on a like on just trying to kill her for whatever reason, right? Jax Jax had to stop him, right? Stabbed him. Like obviously he's gonna come back to life because he's immortal. Um, but then they go to like the inn and it's like a one bed, and I was like, oh, the one bed trope. But they didn't actually do anything. It was really sad.
But the scene when they were in the room were still so good, though.
Oh, I know. Well, and then he tried to like he tried to put her to sleep. He put something on her wrist, right? But I just love like those little like stolen intimate moments, right? Where they're both just like we really shouldn't be doing this. Like there are so many reasons like why this doesn't make sense, but like I just can't get over these feelings that I have, and you're the only one that I see, basically. And it's just like I think she does just such a good job because I'm just reading this and I'm like like just like heavy breathing, just like
No, seriously,
like
when the
just eating
people are
it
in the
up, you know?
same room as me when I'm reading and I'm reacting to these moments, or even moments where, like when Apollo stabbed the little boy, right? Like whatever little moments, I'm just sitting there going, or, and they're like,
Yeah.
you okay? I'm like, don't touch me.
Yeah. I'm actually at my parents' house right now, and so I was reading the last 5 chapters today, and I was like in the middle of like one of the scenes between Jax and Evangeline, and my mom tried to stop, or she like was talking to me about something, and I was just like, like not trying not to be mean, but I'm like, I'm reading.
It's
No,
so
no, I
funny.
love my mom, but
How dare you talk to your daughter? When he was talking to her and he was begging her to remember, and the moment that broke him
oh
into just talking to her to begging her was when he said something about like I'm your monster, and she just kind of gasped and was frozen, and then he just sat there like forehead to forehead saying please remember, and then insulted her being like I knew when you wanted something more than anything and you're not even close to that now. But it was such a good scene.
oh yeah, and then when he said, um, "I'm yours, but you will never be mine." That just like like twist because it's just like he's basically admitted now, right? And it's I think it's so interesting that like basically we know that they reciprocate the feelings, but Jax has basically admitted without saying the word that he loves her, right? And she hasn't had the chance to say it yet either. Because I think too, like if she were to say it too prematurely, he'd be like, oh, like it would really freak him out because of the whole like Archer whatever. But just that whole like of him being like it's so agonizing, right? Because he loves her, he's obsessed with her, he's putting himself like in danger and like in so much pain, emotionally and physically, just to be around her, right? But like even if he knows like because of his curse, like they could never be together, and I'm
Yes.
like,
Well, and she even said when she'd woken up and had remembered everything, she looking back, she said every single thing that he's done has said I love you without actually saying it. He's always trying to protect her. He's always doing things for her.
oh,
Even though he obviously hasn't said the words I love you, it's kind of showing. And I love it. And unfortunately, since it's only happened twice, she has tried to tell him that she loves him, and every single time Apollo's been there to ruin it, stop her from saying it.
um, I think it's so funny how much opposites Jax and Apollo are. Like not only in looks, but like I was just saying, right? Like Apollo is very much words no action, but Jax is like action no words, right? Because he just loves to tease her. He has not said and like won't say I love you, right? But he, like you just said, he's constantly showing that he does. So I love that juxtaposition, right? It's like Apollo has the dark hair, dark eyes, like whatever, and then Jax has like the blonde hair, the beautiful blue eyes, and they're just so different, right?
So no, and I love that. I love that there's that clear distinction between the two,
Yeah,
and obviously the personality is totally different, right? And what's his name? Bellwether tried to kill her for Petra. Apparently they were
yeah.
together.
Did no one know? No,
No, there was no hint,
no,
or at least not that I saw.
no. just came out of the woodworks and was like, I'm just gonna kill you now. And she's just like, why? Like, can we talk about how like she literally has like a death attempt on her life every day?
Even Jax was like,
Like
why is everybody
every
trying to kill
waking
you?
day. So even Jack is like, what did you do? She's like, because she forgot. She's like, I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Okay, you earlier you had said something about how Chaos was specifically trying to kill her. So
Uh-huh.
you think that Chaos was specifically trying to kill her? Because I thought, which I do think he was going to kill her in the moment if Jax had not saved her. But I was thinking that it was more that they both happened to be there, maybe, and that he was just looking for any source of blood that's closest to him. Because I think he can't control himself truly, because he's just on this instinct
Mhm.
hunger thing.
Well, I swear I remember Jack saying that like he was targeting her for some reason.
Okay.
Like, and I can't give you much more detail about it, but like from what he said, and I might have to go like look back, but I swear he said something about like how he was targeting her.
Okay. No, I just
But
don't remember that. But yeah. So I was gonna.
yeah,
That's why I was asking, because I was like, "Ooh, did you see something I
yeah,
did not?"
just might be like our different interpretations of whatever. So
Yeah, totally. And I think that that bracelet that Jax gave her, the little crystal one with the cherry blossoms, I wonder if it's a protection against him to stop him from biting her or even noticing her, maybe, or something. Because the fact that she was untouched and
oh,
everybody else, even Jax, was bitten or slaughtered, I wonder if that bracelet has a lot to do with that.
so excited to finish this book. Like I'm also so depressed because it's been a wonderful wild ride.
Yeah.
Um, but I need this with every fiber of my soul.
I know. I'm so
So
interested to see how it's going to end, how their story's going to end,
yeah.
whether or not they're going to be together. If my theory is going to be proven true of Donatello simply breaking his curse so he can be with his true love, I don't know. But
Oh, yeah.
I just want to.
Oh, can we also mention how he's like because I think Evangeline is super caught up on like he was gonna go back and change his history with Donatella, and in that scene he was like, I don't even remember what she looks like, and like all of his thoughts are just around it. And it was just like, again, just like dagger to the heart, right? He was like he has completely forgotten
Yeah.
um about Donatella, right? And he was gonna go back and not kiss her, right? Probably so that he could kiss Evangeline and have her be the one true love, right?
That's a really interesting theory. I really thought he was going to go back to just
Yeah,
try
so
again.
right. I think that's what I thought too, right? But I think now that like we're getting more of Jack's perspective and like his inner dialogue and how he's just like, I literally cannot stop thinking about her. I think he was literally trying to go back in time to change his history with Donatella so that Evangeline could be the one to survive the kiss.
I love that. And if that is true, I think that we're going to get a monologue pretty soon.
No,
Because
I need me the monologue.
oh my goodness, especially when she's gonna sit there probably confronting him saying, you know, you were gonna go back for Donatello, what happened, why do I still remember you, some sort of fight maybe, and he's gonna maybe say
Yeah.
something like that, or it was only ever you, or
Mhm.
like something
Yeah.
just heartbreaking but beautiful.
So I have a little bit of beef with this book because I read 5 chapters every day, but for some reason something always happens and Jack's perspective is always on that like next chapter, right in the
Mm.
like the start of the next five. And so I have to wait like a whole day to read it and I'm like, this is so mean. Like, I hate this. Things. It's like I don't want Apollo's perspective. I
No.
couldn't care less about Apollo. Give me every single perspective of Jax, like and Evangeline. That's all I need. All I need. I don't want Apollo. And so it was just I was tormented.
Oh my goodness, yes. Well, and the thing is, the POVs of Jax have always been so good. There's never been one where I was like, okay, that was kind of a waste of a POV, but every single time it's been really, really good.
Apollo was just a waste.
Well, so I would say that because again, I don't necessarily want Apollo's either, but I do think it's important for us to see his inner dialogue of I'm not a murderer, I'm not a bad
Oh
guy,
yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
this whole time we could sit here being like, oh, he's just a bad guy and why would he do this? But if he's telling himself, no, 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 this was necessary. I'm protecting her. It's all for her. then it's like
Yeah.
we're understanding his motivation. I mean, we always knew it was her, but
Yeah.
it's just different, I guess, seeing his inner dialogue.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't see Apollo making it out of this book alive. I don't see it.
No, I don't think so either. So if that's true, which also we haven't heard from what's her name? Marisol or Tiberius.
What?
And at one of, I think it was the first book,
I
she said something about her mom saying that, you think it's a happily ever after, whatever, but the stepsister survives, or somebody gets away, or something else comes into their path that makes them stumble, or something like that. Like, there's always something. It's never just the end, happily ever after. And we have not heard from those two
hmm
people for a while.
I was actually just gonna say, like, I was reading earlier this week and I was like, it is very suspicious how much we haven't heard, especially from Marisol and or Luke. Like
True.
Luke is off the radar. Like,
Yes. And they finally did just mention Luke. And so I do think that he's going to come
yeah.
back a little bit, or something more about him
Yeah.
is going to come back. So I do wonder what that's going to be.
Mhm.
Maybe he's been hunting down Marisol. We all don't know. But yeah,
No.
but there's only so many chapters left. Like, we're going to finish this book the next time that we come back to this podcast. We're going to be talking about the end.
Yeah.
We'll be done. So there's very little time to cover all of those bases. And
hmm
I feel like it's going to be like a war or something, like something crazy.
Something insane is about to happen. Like it is just it's gonna happen. And so I don't I'm ready, but I'm not ready. Like
I know, I'm so scared.
luckily I have you as my emotional support and I'm your emotional
Yes.
support. So we can just like Snapchat each other and be like, I'm not okay.
It was hard too when I was reading, even though you had read it, it was hard reading the Caraval series alone, so to speak, because I'd be reading things and I'd be like,
Yeah.
and I couldn't really talk to, and even though yes, you've read it and you could understand my dilemma, so to speak, but it's different than being in it together at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a whole
And it was a
different.
little hard too because you'd send me like screenshots of the book and I'd be like, wait a second, like trying to figure out context and like what's happening and everything, you know.
Yeah, and
And
that's
it's also
why.
been a hot minute since
Yeah, and that's why I tried to underline things, because I was like, it's been probably a bit since she's read, so let me just make sure she knows
yeah.
which part I'm talking about.
So glad you're caught up. Caraval series is amazing. This series incredible.
I think it's even better, honestly, than the Carvel series, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think so too. I mean, I love the Caraval series, but there are a lot of times where, like, kind of like you said, like, there's just a lot of over explanation. And so I ended up
Details.
just kind of getting like overwhelmed and just kind of confused and lost. And so I just kind of be like reading this and being like, what's happening right now? Like, so,
Yeah, well, and I do notice that this author, she does go into a lot of details, not just even for this, plot twist type stuff, but also just in her descriptions of things. She describes every outfit, it feels like everybody
yeah.
wears, every room they walk into, every person, every single time. And although, yes, I like to know, what beautiful dresses they're wearing and what it looks like, or if some spectacular castle was there, like, tell me about it. But I don't need it for every single thing. So that's my only, I guess, gripe with this
I
author.
feel like she had a very specific image for every single thing,
Yeah.
right? It was just like she just like wanted you to know. Like I don't know. Yeah, it was. I think she definitely like toned it down. This
Yeah, definitely.
like I mean there were some times like she's describing Lala's outfit and I'm like whatever. So
Well, and mostly
but
with most books, I honestly just skip over all of the descriptions. Even if I want to know,
yeah.
it's like my brain can't hold on to that and still hold on to the story, and what's going on. So I tend to just skip over it anyways. But that's a lot to skip over in those kind of books when they're just constantly. And so
Yeah.
then I get tired and I kind of tend to fall asleep.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
But I am enjoying it. Like, it's
Yeah.
a good story.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
No. Phenomenal story.
oh yeah.
I can't think of anything else. I don't know.
I don't know. There is honestly just so much, and I'm trying to think of all of the even little things, right? Like the
Well,
boy or.
well, she just got kidnapped, right? I think she ended it with her getting kidnapped by that Godric, the guy with the raven.
No, because Prince Apollo was there, right? So because he was there and
Oh, that's right.
he brought her back into the inn, and she's like, I really don't want to go back in there. But then Apollo was there and she
Oh, yeah, now
slapped
she's
him.
faking. She slapped him so hard, and I was like, yes. And he was like, I didn't know you could hit that hard. And you can tell he's just like, like just so mad.
And then
And
she had
she's
to
like,
play
I'm
into
sorry.
it. Yeah, she had to like just play the part, because if she just unveiled that she knows everything now and remembers, one, there's all of those
Hmm.
huge men that are hunters and Apollo and no other witnesses other than
Hmm.
dead bodies, she could he could take her memories away again, or something really bad could happen to her, like all these things, right? So she has to play along.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see where it goes and where
Yeah.
Jax is.
Yeah. I can't believe he left her. I was so mad. I was like, no, you set up perfectly for the one bed trope, and then you messed it up. Ugh.
Right. Oh my goodness. And I just, another part about the Valors makes me wonder about who and how they are, because they're continually letting their son live and do what he does. You know, and this is the second time with his mask thing off, and he's a monster, right? And I get it's their son and brother and they love him and everything, but with causing that much destruction and death, I just,
Enough is enough.
yeah,
Like,
like, why are you
how
supporting
many
him?
people gotta die before, like, how many people gotta die, girl?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I wonder if they're actually like trying to do something,
Maybe.
but like on the low key, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. Things just feel fishy
But I'm
to me about them, and chaos
so fishy.
even. But I guess we'll find out. Join us next time where we actually find out how this
See you
ends.
Saturday.
We'll see you
Yes.
Saturday.
We're probably gonna be in tears.
Probably. And then we'll introduce our next book that we're going to read. And you'll
Yes.
find out then. We won't give you any secrets until then.
See you next time, guys.
See you. Don't forget to
Thanks for
subscribe,
joining.
comment, and share. Tell us your theories. Tell us your recommendations for books. And we'll see you next time.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.